Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here today. We have a fun show for you today. We're going to be talking pre 33 gold. We're going to talk a little bit about that and bullion. But again, being a numismatic channel, we're going to be talking about many other things associated with gold, the production of gold, the distribution of gold, pre 33 gold. And who doesn't love pre 33 gold? We'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about some of the allure and the draw to pre 33, and then we'll talk about the couple of minutes. So we got a lot of fun talking that we're going to be talking about today. Of course, I have about the couple of minutes. One of my standard staples that we're going to be talking about today. One of my other browsers fired off. We'll be talking.
Yeah, your landscape's not working.
My landscape's not working yet. It should, or is it not come up yet?
Not yet.
I'm seeing stuff in chat. You guys seeing anything on your end?
I'm seeing the chat, but let me see. I just was waiting on it. Now I can't find it. Let me go to your page. There it is. Oh, says it's live now.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Must have been lagging.
Probably, yeah, there's probably a little bit of delay. We'll check and see if there's a lag. So I'll do a check here. I like both streams. David Carlisle says both streams are working. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. What's up, Ronald Stewart? Good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Siren. Sorcerer stands in the house. Thanks for being a channel member, bud. Eric, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and bring you up. Ta-da! Let's see. Freaking awesome. What up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you, bud. Nice to see you. Shift Kicker's in the house. Good morning, Shift Kicker. Hope you're doing well. So how you doing this morning, Eric?
I am wonderful. Getting ready for another storm.
Man, you guys are getting just pummeled down there lately.
5 years. The East Coast hasn't gotten much in 5 years. I mean, they've gotten one or two, but it seems like, and this one's supposed to come right on top of us again. Be like the
Yeah.
third or fourth one in 5 years that's basically landed on top of my house.
We need one of those to come over and park over Texas. So if you can send it my way, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, they're saying what, 4 to 7 inches, but localized there could be areas that get 30 inches of rain.
Holy crap. You guys don't
Yeah,
need that. You guys are already saturated.
it goes right through. I got to say that we've actually had, like, Hurricane Debbie gave us near 30 inches of rain where I'm at, and it went right down. The
Well,
last hurricane that went through, Helene, we got wind, but we only got a couple inches of rain here. The rain bands didn't hit us real bad.
well, you guys
So
have a lot of kind of like Texas. You guys have a lot of limestone, so you have a lot of
that and
um
sand.
yeah, so you have a lot of opportunity for the water to quickly pass through. I tell you where they don't need it is up there in North Carolina.
It's not supposed to go there. It's supposed to
Yeah,
go
so
basically straight across the state of Florida.
they need to make sure that it doesn't go up and then cut back over. Because
No,
if
they
it,
can't make sure of it.
yeah, well, you know
uh,
what I mean by that
yeah,
because they're already. He's in Florida, Ron. Um, yeah. So, and what part of Florida are you in again?
I am in Northport or Port Charlotte area.
Okay.
So basically
So,
between Fort Myers and Tampa.
yeah. Very cool. I had some friends when I was in the Navy. We'd go down to Tampa. His parents lived down in Tampa. We'd go red fishing and go hang out in the little bays and stuff down there. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So very cool. Yeah, it's really nice there, Ron. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the being the channel members. I appreciate all the support. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this. Paula may come in. If she does, she'll be here probably a little bit later.
Oh yeah.
But so let's talk pre 33 gold. So the reason I wanted to do this is I was asked the question about what's all the hubbub about pre 33. We see this in so many different places. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about pre 33, kind of a little bit of the history, talk about kind of what's going on, why so many people are just enamored with it when you can actually find better deals with some bullion coin. So gold is gold. So what's the allure of pre-33? And I was like, yeah, sure. We'll talk about it on Saturday. So no problem. So we put a couple things together. Eric and I have done some chit chatting, and we'll we're going to talk about that. So Eric, before we begin, hey Mark Wahog, what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Confiscation, says Ronald Stewart. That's a big piece of it.
That's a big thing.
Yep,
History.
that is a big piece of it. Again, when we're talking about numismatics, we're talking about the history of money. We're talking about the history of the coins. We're talking about bills. We're talking about metals and things of that nature. And it's all tied to history. What's up, AZ? Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well. Thank you guys for being channel members. I definitely appreciate you. But yeah, it's all about the history of things. So what is your favorite pre-33 piece, Eric?
I'm a St. Gaudens guy.
Ooh,
I would like Dahlonega stuff, Charlotte Mint stuff, but there's not a lot of that
Iloniga,
left.
Iloniga.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I'm not a big. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't. I wouldn't throw an Indian out, but I'm not a big fan of them. But I'm just wondering how many people would prefer to have pre-33 constitutional gold over uh, pure gold bullion.
So
I
that's a
mean,
good question. So for those of you that are in chat, if you would like pre-33 gold over bullion coins, so if you like the pandas or the kookaburra or whatever, if you would prefer 330 pre-33 gold, put a 1 in chat. If you would prefer the bullion because you like the little bit higher quality gold and you don't mind the modern stuff, put a 2 in chat. So if you had the opportunity to get a piece of gold, put 1 or 2 in there. I'm definitely a 1. It's pre-33 all day, every day for me. Shiv Kicker's a stacker. She's like, I would prefer the bullion,
oh,
but Shiv Kicker likes pretty things too. So, our,
Sorcerer Stan's not wrong either. He loves it all.
well, gold is gold, and so it depends on. It kind of depends on the purpose for having it, right? So if you have the pre-33 gold and the entire purpose behind having the pre-33 gold is you're just stacking gold, there are good and bad checks like I'll do 1 and 2. Okay. There there's good things and bad things about stacking uh pre-33 gold. Uh Number 1, when you look at the purity level, you're not talking about, so you have a quarter ounce, there's going to be more copper and stuff in it. It's not going to be 999 fine. It's going to be
Yeah,
90%, right?
most pre-33 averages 90%.
Yeah.
Like I said, the highest. I looked it up. I want to say I don't remember the year, but
Like,
there was a St. Gaudens that was made that was 91.37%.
yeah. And I think that the higher purity, there are some of the ones that had a little bit higher purity, but for the most part, you're looking right about 90%. And so I'm going to put in chat. Do you guys know why that the circulating coinage of the time was 90%, not 95 or 99%? You guys have any, what do you guys think the purpose for that was? Hey, Kevin, what's going on? Flying Dutchman's in the house. What's going on, Flying Dutchman? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. I greatly appreciate you coming in and hanging out on the stream. Durability, Ringmaster Ray, ding, ding, ding. What's up, brother? How you doing? Ray, if you got some time, if you want to come up and chit chat, you're more than welcome to come on up and hang out. Yeah, pure gold is soft and it wouldn't last. So again, durability. Hey, Eric, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, bud. He just gifted 5 memberships. Freaking awesome. Inkman, Flying Dutchman, Sunday Peak, and PETA. Outstanding. Congratulations, you guys, on the membership. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate you, brother. I like that because I like people going, ooh, I got a membership. You know what I mean? Super chats are
Yep.
like, oh yeah, okay, well that benefits the channel, whatever, okay. But I really like it when people come back there and they're like, hey, I got a gift membership. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really like seeing the engagement with people when that happens. So thanks, I appreciate that. But yeah, durability. You got to make sure that they last. And what's the number one goal of the mint? Do you guys know? Outside of making
Not to
coins,
lose money.
not to lose money, right? So you've got to have something that's durable. You've got to have something. And if you look at the redesigns of coinage throughout uh, history, we're talking about U.S. Mint history, you're going to see design changes because of uh, durability issues. Great example is the reverse on the Buffalo nickel, right? Type 1, Type 2. Type 1, Type 2 in the Standing Liberty Quarter.
That's right. I was just going to say the Liberty
Yep.
Quarters.
Again, because durability. So, oh, yeah. Did you hear about the submarine industry? It really took a dive.
Nice.
Oh, I like the dad joke thing. That's awesome. Um, but yeah, they really want to. You have to make sure that your coins are going to be around for a while. And so again, the one thing about pre 33, um, one, it's at 90% because of the durability. And so when you're looking at bullion, when you're looking at stuff like that, I know people that have pre 33, like $10 gold eagles that they have for pocket pieces. Um, because they are durable, but that's their piece. That's what they have as their pocket piece. I could never have a pocket piece that was gold. I'd be too concerned about losing it. Um, but we had one guy when I worked at the convenience store while I was going through college that he always carried around a double eagle. That was his gold piece. An old crusty farmer dude up in Utah, and that was his piece. He'd always bring it in and be like, "How you doing?" It said on the counter, and he's like, "I know you like this." I'm like, "You can will it to me. You can will it to me." Um, yeah, he was always good. He's like, "Nah, this is going to my grandson." But hey, Coach's Magic, what's up, brother? Good to see you. But again, yeah, durability was the primary purpose for having that 90%. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the other pieces, some of the other allures of pre 33 gold. So, Eric, you and I were talking as we normally do before the stream, and we talked about a couple different elements. Let's go over the one that you first brought up. Remember what that was?
It was supposed to be taken out of circulation by the government. It was all supposed to be turned in.
Yeah. Hey, Weldon Carey, good day. Hope you're doing well, sir. That's a person. He's growing his channel pretty fast. A lot of people like the knives and stuff. He goes in and supports a lot of channels. He's growing pretty quick. He's up and coming. So keep
There are
your
a lot of
stuff
coin
going.
collectors that collect knives too.
Yep. So I pop in. He's always saying hi and promoting the channel. So thanks for coming in, Weldon Carey. I appreciate it. But yeah, there are a lot of people that like knives. But a lot of people who collect coins are collectors. They just collect stuff, all different kinds of stuff. So I collect a few knives, says Red Silver. Red Silver, it's so nice to see you, green brother. Oh, thanks for coming into the stream. It's good to see you. Herman, the Pinky Ortiz, what's up, brother? How are you, good sir? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming into the stream and hanging out with us this morning.
But to get back to the gold, it was an executive order from President Roosevelt that required all citizens to turn their gold in and change it into gold certificates, uh, basically. So they were promised gold back in return, but I guess the government needed the gold.
So,
But it was executive order. Let me see. Yeah, executive 1933. Franklin Roosevelt issues Executive Order 6102, which required all citizens to turn in their gold. Oh,
which,
and gold certificates in exchange for paper currency. So you weren't promised gold back.
well, you were promised gold back, but they, excuse me, they got something like 21 or $22 per ounce for the gold coin. And then as soon as they all had it in, it jumped up to what, $35. Um, they were trying to control the price because of paying overseas debt. And so they gathered all of that stuff, put it together. I'm trying to remember I'm going to pull it up because I want to make sure I say this correct. It was, I believe it was, oh yeah, 2067. I knew it was like $21. So 2067 per ounce. And then after they did that, they bumped the price up to $35 per ounce and further consolidated gold, even allowing more for flexibility of expansion.
Well, I'm
Um,
sure the depression demand caused that. People didn't want to turn their gold in.
well, there
Now,
were a lot of people who, excuse me, not only did they not want to turn their gold in, um, but there were a lot of people who were taking their gold and they were actually like, burying it in like their
that's right.
outhouses and stuff, and hiding it because that was the way that they saved, right? People didn't
Right. Oh,
people didn't send their money to banks after the Great Depression. They
is there a statistic that asks how many people were actually prosecuted for not turning gold in?
I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Why would they bury it unless they were afraid of being jailed for it?
Let's see. It just says few people were ever prosecuted in this, despite the fact that the subsequent legislation posed a fine of $10,000 or 10 years. Tiger Stacker just gifted 5 additional memberships. That went to EMR, Herman, Weldon Carey, Lady Braven, and Philip the Board. Thanks, Tiger. I appreciate you, bud. Good day. Muscle Shell says it was a lie. It was all a lie. Well, again, if you think about what the purpose of the executive order, the main rationale behind that executive order was to remove the constraint on the Federal Reserve, because they couldn't mint more money. Remember that during that time frame, we were based off of the gold standard. The gold, well, we were silver and gold standard, right? And so we had moved from the silver standard back in the 1800s, shifted over into the gold standard, which is what they really wanted to do. But when they put the Federal Reserve into place, talking about 1913 in that time frame, the Federal Reserve was trying to do more post World War II or post World War One, and they weren't able to actually instigate and do certain things that they wanted to do. As the country started to pay back its debts, you look at some of the stuff that happened in Germany and France and Britain. You look at the economic downturn in Britain, some of the things that happened there. The U.S. had a couple different events. We're going to talk about one again. Eric and I were talking ahead of time regarding the Pittman Act. Again, there are various things that happened with hoarding and collecting certain pieces. This is why Carson City coins have such a great premium. And that's primarily because of the Pittman Act. Um, so when you're looking at that, the hands of the Fed were tied. And so the executive order uh, basically opened up unlimited spending by the government. And
And here's
so
an interesting fact of that is that foreign gold was illegal and seized also.
Say that one more time.
Foreign gold, like Krugerrands and stuff like that, they were illegal also. There was a Swiss bank who dealt in gold here that lost 40% of their gold value because of they entrusted it to an American company who turned it in.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, that's we'll get into that in just a minute. That's another thing you'll hear when you listen to stackers saying that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And it's, putting your money or putting your gold into other people's hands. I'm not going to go into the whole stacking component of that, but
well, it was just interesting because they call it the pre 1933 Gold Act
yeah.
because 1934 you were allowed to own coins, gold coins, if they were made in 1934 or later. Uh,
Well, and you could only hold up to something like $100 worth of coin.
right, but like a gold certificate, they were illegal to even possess in the United States until 1964 again. So the paper money that like the $20 gold certificates from the early 30s
Yeah.
were illegal to actually possess. They were considered gold.
Well, yeah, because they were redeemable for gold, and by all intents and purposes, um, they were held required. They were required to honor that. So, in order to alleviate that, and again, when you're talking about the Federal Reserve Act requiring uh, that 40% of gold being backed against the Federal Reserve notes, right? That's another reason when you talk about the silver certificates and you talk about the things that happened in 13, the things that happened in 20, Pittman Act was 1929.
Oh, 1917? No,
Was it? Was no? It wasn't 17? Was it? I don't think it was.
that's why there's so many
Because there
silver
were
dollars
two
that were
there were
minted
two
at
levels to
21.
the Pittman Act. The secondary level is why we don't have any peace dollars between 1928 and 1934. That was the secondary level of the Pittman Act, and that was a continuation because we were trying to reach something like $800 million or something, some crazy
Pittman
number.
Act, 1918.
Okay, so the secondary phase of the Pittman Act was the reason why the great silver melt occurred. I'm trying to remember what the name of that was. So, but yeah, the whole premise between the Pittman Act, this act that occurred in 1933, was that the government was taking tons and tons and tons of bullion, taking tons and tons of coins, melting it down, paying off debt. They were untying the hands through periodic, um, uh, basically devaluation of gold and silver, um, in order to, be able to increase their spending limits. Tiger Stacker with the $5 super set. Thanks, bud. Wanted to thank you, Frosty, for trusting me on holding all of your gold. It really helped me with my eBay. No problem. I just expect that 20% investment here. So please make
And
sure
here,
you forward that over. Um,
here's an interesting question: did they pay the debt off by doing this?
they paid a good portion of it off, but again, not all of
That's
the
right, they did not.
not all of the purpose was to pay our debt off. Remember that the Pittman Act was to support the financial crisis that was happening in Europe at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't to alleviate our debt; it was to help them get through a very difficult time. So, um,
Does anybody know when the last time the United States was debt free? It's been a long time.
I'm without looking it up, and I'm going to type this in because I want to search it. I'm going to say 1853. And the reason that I
Close.
would say that was because that's when we went from the silver standard, shifted over to gold.
It was, I believe, 1835. Andrew Jackson was the last president to be in office, and he paid the debt off. And a lot of people hated him for it.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I think that we were debt free from 1835 to 1837.
As a result, they actually, oh, oops, what happened? Oh, you need to do this. All the major economic events of the Jacksonian era can be linked to Andrew Jackson's determination to pay off the national debt. Not only did he enforce steady shrinking of the debt by paying it off with strictly frugal federal spending and funds, he also established policies to ensure the government would not incur new debt. As a result, the U.S. did actually become debt free for the first time beginning 1835 and stayed that way till 1837, and it remained the only country without
Which,
major debt.
do you remember a conversation we had about countries in debt? Uh, about like us paying our national debt off? It can't happen.
Oh,
There's
no,
not enough.
it'll never be able to happen. Yeah, that's correct.
Well, if you put all the countries' debt together, it's like triple of the amount of actual value of everything in the world. So it can't be done. It's fictitious. I mean, the debt's real, but the numbers are fictitious.
Yeah, well,
So
there's no way for us to be able um, to pay that off. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, if every billionaire paid, it's like, even if every billionaire dropped every
every
ounce of money that they had, it wouldn't even come close to the order of money
yeah, I
that
think
we
it's like
have.
every person in the United States would have to pay $180,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and what?
Like
There's
that's
only
going to happen,
1% of the people that even come close to having that amount of money.
right? I was
Um,
going to say like that's going to happen. Could you imagine the families of 10? Oh,
yeah, yeah. You owe $1.9 million.
yeah.
No,
But
yeah, there's
anyway,
no way.
back to the gold thing. But I'm just a numismatic guy. I would always go pre-33. But the funny thing is all the gold I have in the house is bullion, which is weird because 10th ounce coins are so easy to buy, or quarter ounce. When you get a quarter ounce of pre 1933, it's big money because it's usually Dahlonega Mint. The St. Gaudens are more like an ounce. The double eagles. I think the Indians are a quarter, aren't they? Not sure how much an Indian.
Yeah, you have the Indians and the Liberty Heads.
Yeah,
You have the Princess Gold, and then you have the dollar coins. So you had five or six denominations. You had the one, the 2.5, the 5, the 10, and the 20.
right. And the tens were eagles, 20s double eagles.
That's correct. And so the fives were half eagles, and then the 2.5s were quarter eagles, and the ones were just dollar gold. Yeah. So, and then the ones are basically, what are they? 1.5 grams or something like that.
So, that's a coin you don't see. Thinking about it.
I have a lot of them actually. Most of what I have is the $1 gold. One of my favorite one is the Princess. Um, I love the Princess Gold. That's that $3 Prince. Oh, I forgot about the $3 gold. The $3 gold is the other one that's there because there was one, 2.5, 3, 5, 10, and 20. I forgot about the $3 gold. Yep, yep. Thanks, Ike man. Thanks for putting that up there. I totally forgot about the $3 one. But yeah, I have a lot of the, um, and I collected the dollar coin because it was the easiest way for me to get my birth year gold coin. Um, but
You were born in the 1800s? Oh,
you know
you're
what
talking about new
the
ones.
the 100 year the hundred
Oh,
year
God, I
coin.
got you. I got
Yeah,
you.
so getting a gold coin when that was 100 years old the year I was born. And the dollar coin is just more affordable that way. So, but yeah, I like the pre 33. I like it for a couple different reasons. Number one, we talk about Dahlonega, right? Dahlonega is one of my favorite mints. I like the story behind Dahlonega. Does anybody know why there were two mints? So I think we might have mentioned this, but if we haven't already, let's not say that yet. There were two mints that actually became of or came into being because of two events. Um, and the two events are the same event in two different locations. Can anybody tell me what the two meant? So I just gave you the Dalane- Dahlonega. Oh,
Dahlonega.
Dahlonega.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
Dahlonega.
said Dahlonega. Dahlonega. Sorry, I say that wrong. I think all the time. Ron Stewart says Clinton. Oh, sorry, that was way back in the no debt. No, Clinton didn't incur a lot of debt, the national debt, but we weren't debt free under that.
Yeah, the debt actually went a little backwards for the first time in a long time then. But
Yeah,
yeah, we were still
we were still steep
well.
in debt.
Yeah.
There you go, Kevin. He's on the ball. He knows the answer here. The Dahlonega and Charlotte. That's correct. Barogia. Muscle types like I speak. All right. So yeah, Charlotte and Dahlonega, and those are two mints. So Dahlonega is my favorite, but they were both stemmed because of gold rushes and because of major gold deposits that were found in that area. They needed a way to, because people were turning in bullion, right? They were trading it in for silver at the time, and there were such influxes of this. They needed a way to um, kind of offset that without having to ship it over to places like New Orleans or Philadelphia. Um, and so, necessity is the mother lode of all creation and invention. And so they decided to shift this over and create a new mint there in Dahlonega, and then the exact same reason in Charlotte. Eric,
Yes.
Dahlonega coins, what do you think they go for on average?
Well, it depends on condition. Uh, you can find them. I would say, like I'm looking here. There's a Dahlonega coin that's $2,900. Uh, the Charlotte coin, AU50, $3,000.
$5 gold?
$1 gold.
Yeah. See, that's crazy.
Uh, so it's condition, and of course, like everything else, there's some years that are more available than other years. Uh, well, let me see. Dahlonega mintage.
So Dahlonega is another one of those that is, it's a trivia question that frequently gets asked on my channel and others. And the reason for that is it's the only mint, and I think ever, to use the same mint mark as another one. And then obviously, hey, hold on, I need to pause this for just a minute. Jack Gallman, how you doing, brother? Checking in. He has been inundated. He's there in North Carolina. North Carolina has absolutely just been pummeled due to weather. I want to check in. How you doing, bud? You doing all right? I know they've been having issues getting fuel. Eric, isn't Chuck doing?
He
Uh,
has a benefit auction coming up Tuesday
okay,
that is going to. I'm not sure what it's all about. I do know that he's matching the first $1,000 that he collects or sells. I sent a package of stuff that I donated. That includes a bank wrapped roll of 43p Lincoln cents. Uh, so yeah, join us Tuesday for sure. If I can make it. There's supposed to be a storm coming in here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're not sure when it comes yet. So that's providing I have power. Being that we've had storms so much lately, our power is a little flaky.
yeah, their problem is like Jack is a generator. Their problem is getting fuel, having the money one to do it, but making sure that they have the fuel and stuff to do it. So if you guys are interested in it and you guys can help out, that's he's always been a great part of our community. So if you
Yeah,
guys
Asheville is in bad shape. Uh, Asheville, and then there's a spot in in South Carolina, that's doing real bad too.
Robert
That's
the
up
Bruce,
in
what's
the
going on?
mountains.
Good
It's
morning,
it's
Diamond
really
Lou.
terrible.
Sorry, Eric.
And the worst thing about this disaster that they're having is most everybody's homeowners insurance is going to deny their claim because it's flood related.
Oh man, and that's one thing that
Well,
I live in an area that's like the 500-year flood,
well,
and
who thinks that a mountain is going to flood? And the
well,
bad part
yeah,
is if they look in there when they bought the real estate, it's probably like on page 1300 of their document. It says that you're on a floodplain. And that is something that is going to change from this storm, is that's going to be on the front page
yeah,
because that's something you need to know before you buy a piece of property.
yeah. And that's one thing that, like with the house that I bought, I mean, we're in a residential area, and but we back up against a creek, and this creek is like 50 feet down below our house. I mean, we've got a nice drop off and everything behind us. And then we got probably, 80 feet of yard between the edge of our fence and our house, and it all slopes. It's a pretty decent slope, and we had to do that because we bordered the 100-year flood mark.
Right.
And when we were putting our insurance thing together, I was like, I want flood insurance, and the lady was like, it's never going to reach you. And I'm like, it's never reaching you until it does.
Right. I don't have flood insurance because flood insurance is ridiculously cost prohibitive here.
See,
And
and it's
I'm
not
40 feet
here.
above sea level.
Yeah,
My
it's not
neighbors
here.
flood and I don't. But I can. I mean,
Yeah.
you hit it right on the head. It doesn't flood until it floods. That's what the people in Asheville are thinking right now.
Yep. And then when it happens, you're screwed.
Yeah.
The same in the spring in the South when Minnesota flooded. Nobody had flood insurance. We had multiple benefits for families whose homes were flooded.
Yep.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is the insurance companies understand this, right? They know what's going on, and again, everything's a gamble. If you if you pay for everything and never use it, you lose tons of money. If you have to use it, you're going to end up fighting. Eric knows this firsthand.
Oh yeah.
You're going
They
to
don't
end
want
up
to pay you.
fighting with the insurance for years because they don't want to have to pay tons of money back out.
Yeah, the people making the money are the lawyers involved.
Yep. And if you don't have the insurance, then the insurance companies are going to say no, you're not covered. And so it's really frustrating um, to
It's
see
devastating.
people, yeah, because it's like Jack and the other people that are there. It's insane. How about Grand Rapids?
What happened in Grand Rapids?
That's what I was just about to say. I'm not sure.
I'm actually from Michigan, so I'm very familiar with the area.
Yeah,
And my daughter actually lives right near there. Huh, I don't see nothing.
not sure what happened in Grand Rapids. So, but yeah, there's a lot of issues that are going on. When I lived in Utah, there was a thing called the Jordan Valley, and people were building homes down in the Jordan Valley. And if you look at the valley of Salt Lake City, Provo, American Fork, you look all through that, you're in the middle of two mountain ranges, right? You sit in this little uh, this valley, right? And it's just the whole bottom of it. It's all river and floodplain and everything else because all the water comes down to that point and then filters down either into the Great Salt Lake or filters down into Utah Lake. So they all kind of just filter in. If they're on the other side of the mountain, obviously they have other lakes that they go to. But they were building in the very, very, very bottom of this, and it's like, folks, this is Jordan River. Like it floods. And they're like, well, yeah, but it hasn't flooded in 30 years. The day after they cut the ribbon to open this thing, we
It
had
flooded.
massive amounts of rain and it came through. Now, the properties were fine, but then the ground shifted and all these people's house foundations started to crack.
Well,
And it
that
was,
happened in
yeah,
Sarasota.
it was really,
They
really
built these
bad.
houses. They've been there for 20 years, and then there was the Manatee River was overflowing its banks, so they opened the floodgates on the dam, flood about 200 houses, and everybody's screaming in this neighborhood. you're not doing your job. Our houses are flooding. And they're like, well, we sacrificed 200 houses. So, 20,000 houses didn't flood.
Yeah.
And we didn't know about this. And then they come right on, the city come right, or the county come right on and said, if your real estate agent did their job, they would have told you that there was a possibility that this area could flood. And it was basically, like I said, like page 300 of their contract. I don't know how many people actually read their mortgage and their house, their deed and stuff like that. You don't. It's like too long. You have to be an attorney to know it.
Well, what was funny was that when I built this house, I actually read quite a bit of it because there normally, when you do it, your stack is about yay big, right? You're signing all these documents. Well, they brought out two reams like this, and I was like, hold on, that's a whole lot of stuff.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
And she was like, well, I know it's just standard, and you guys live in a community, and so there's some other stuff on here, so just go ahead and sign this. And I was like, no. I
Well,
took
yeah,
two
and then you take
days.
it to an attorney.
I
You
took
take it,
two
well,
days and read a good chunk of my stuff, and I'm like, I'm not signing this because I don't agree with it. It's like you can buy the house back, not a big deal. You can take the house back. I don't care. I'm not signing this. I don't agree with this. And the day we were supposed to close, they were like, well, you're not going to sign this, then you know you can't move into the house. And I was like, fine. They said, buy the house back, and I walked out. And
yeah.
they called me and they said, well, you can't walk away from this deal. And I said, oh, I absolutely can. I'm not under any legal requirement to pay you because I haven't signed for the home. At any
Well,
point in time, you can
unless you
step
gave
out.
earnest money, you would be online to give your earnest money.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what, $1,800. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm under no obligation to do this. I am not under any legal requirement to accept the terms and conditions. If I don't agree with them, I don't have to accept them. And I've told you that I'm not doing this. And so my wife was doing her um, citizenship that day, and I said, "Screw you guys, keep the house. I'm gonna go do my wife's citizenship." And I left. I walked out the door, and I went watched my wife swear in as a U.S. citizen. And the president of the company called me back, and I was like, "Hey, no, keep the house. I'm fine with it." And he's like, "We'll sign the waiver indicating that you don't subscribe to this." And it's like, "Well, the homeowners association is going to have to know this because I'm not subscribing to it. And if that's part of the HOA, I'm not going to sign it arbitrarily through them because I don't agree with that. You shouldn't be forcing me to do this." And so they came back through and they said, well, you got waivers on both sides. We'll make sure it happens. And then the very next day we went back out and signed our house. But I walked away from a deal. And that's something else you guys need to be aware of. If you're buying a car or you're buying something, be willing to walk away,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that
Um,
HOA thing,
yeah,
that whole area of real estate is really watered down after the last Supreme Court ruling.
yeah,
Uh, they basically have no grounds to stand on for basically anything anymore.
yeah.
So,
Well, and one of the things was that one of the writers is that if you participate in a community event, you're you waive your liability if should any event occur in that to ever sue. And it's like, so if I ever go to any HOA funded event, then I
yeah.
lose my ability to sue forever? Hell no. No.
Well, that,
No.
and you're giving them a license to be negligent.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it's like no. Absolutely not. I refuse that. And they changed, and they're like, "Hey, you have to update this." And it's like, "No, I have a waiver for that. It's a long-standing waiver. It's not just for this partial one. I refuse to sign that." Well, we're gonna put a lien on your house, and I'm like, "Oh, please, I dare you to do that."
well,
But
I
no, I
think
just
they had to okay that waiver too for you to buy that
well,
house.
right, but the homeowners association changed, so it's under a different management company, and they're like, "Well, we didn't honor that." And it's like, this is when I purchased the home. So
Let me see what it
this
is.
is a
But
freestanding. I was like, I'm not signing that. You go ahead, put a lien against my house, and I'll sue you guys for everything you understand? And they went and talked to their attorneys, and obviously I didn't have to sign it. But because it was like, no, that was a condition of the purchase of the house that I will never abide by this because I don't agree with it. If I go to the school over here because they're having a 4th of July thing and I support the kids in making sure the cars are taken care of or whatever, I waive all liability forever against anything in my community. Hell no. No. I didn't agree with that. And so I was like, no, I'm never going to do that. And a lot of people have no idea that once that happens, this is one reason that I got rid of the Disney Channel and sent in a letter stating that I revoke my permissions to utilize this. I revoke my consent. You need to, remove that. I'm no longer authorized uh, you to guys to view your stuff or be whatever. I'll never join anything Disney. I'll never be a part of that again. And totally revoked it. And I said, and I need a signed document indicating that you have acknowledged this. Because there was a story where because somebody signed up for the Disney Channel, they had an accident when they were in Disney, and Disney said, "You can't sue us. You're a Disney Plus member, and you have waived all your rights to ever sue Disney ever."
Yeah. Well, and that goes to like the homeowners association. There's so
Bad
many
news.
rulings,
Bad news.
but the ruling that I'm talking about is basically a homeowners association cannot impose penalties more than the value of the property that they own. They don't own any of your property, so they can't fine you. But there's tons of rulings. I mean, I'm reading this from 2022 to 2024. There between state Supreme Courts and federal Supreme Courts. There's all sorts of stuff that have changed in HOA's uh, discretions. Uh, there's just all sorts. I can't even
Yeah.
provide a synopsis on it. But basically, it is to do with they can't fine you if they don't own the property. And hey, that's a
Hey,
big thing.
Tiger Stacker with the $10 super chat. Frosty is smart. He revoked the woke. Go Frosty. Thanks, Tiger. I appreciate you, brother. Um, I just the thing that's frustrating about situations like that, and I do not want to get political today. I just don't want to go there. But one
Yeah,
of
I
the
don't
things
do
that's
politics.
one of the things that's really important is, well, yeah, and we've talked about why. Um, one of the things about I don't really know of too many people, and I'm a guy, so I'm going to say this. This is a very stereotypical thing. Hey, CM Silver, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Um, One thing, hey, Scotty Aquati, thanks for being a channel member. I appreciate you. One thing that's really important is how many people by a number one, okay, put a one in chat, read terms of conditions you sign when you get a new phone, when you download an app, when you click on you want to watch the football game or you want to watch the hockey game or there's a baseball game on and you go to join a new channel. How many of you read the terms of conditions? I'll lay wager there's only a couple. Most people don't even pay attention to it anymore because there's so much legal language in it that you can't understand the damn thing anyway.
That's it, and it's 30 pages long.
Yeah. And so it's just like, forget it, whatever. And then they just move on. How many people read, yep, I skimmed the first page? Honest is it's true. I look at I look at very few.
And that
I
was
have
it
in the
with these
last couple
real
of
estate
years
closers.
started
They're making
reading more
after
of
the
them.
storm, putting it on the front page, the first page, because they're not alone. Most people read the first page and the last page. Everything in between is just
Yeah.
filler, unless you're an
I
attorney.
I usually look at three things. Okay. The first thing that I look at is the general writer. Check Stacker just gifted a membership to Jack Gallman. How fitting is that? Thanks, Jack. I appreciate you, bud. Um, and Jack, I'm glad you're doing well. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah,
Now, is he near Asheville? He's in North Carolina, right?
he is in Marion, North Carolina.
Okay. Well, I can tell you from experiencing a lot of hurricanes, uh, It didn't happen, but it's not unusual for people to be without electricity for 2 months.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a while. Fortunate he has a generator.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, getting gas. I mean,
Getting gas
the
is the
gas
big
was pretty
thing.
good because I actually had to go through there, and it was the gas availability was pretty good. Now Asheville, they're going to have to almost airlift. There's only one road in and out now there, so
Yeah, if you guys wanna support Jack, Jack's gonna go ahead and put his PayPal in there. If you guys wanna send him, 5, 10, 15 bucks or something like that to support him.
and gas for a generator, people don't realize they're like, oh, you don't get a generator. Like when Ian hit, I burnt 60 gallons of gas in 3 days, and that was just to keep my food from spoiling, and a couple lights and stuff like that. You start running a whole house on a generator, that generator's is chugging 30, 40 gallons of gas a day.
Yeah. Well, he's
So
gonna he's gonna put in his PayPal. If you guys wanna do that and you guys wanna give him, 5, 10, 20 bucks or something like that, you're more than welcome to.
in it is not fun. I've been fortunate, like in this house, I live close to a substation, and they basically rebuilt the substation in 3 days, and I had power. But I had a neighbor right across the street that, like, Chuck and Brian come and helped me, and they brought 100 gallons of gas. He used all that gas. I gave it to him because he didn't have electricity for 6 weeks, and he was right across the street. So
Yeah.
he's like using our refrigerator, using, their showering and everything else because they've got nothing in their house.
Yeah, Katrina was another one that was absolutely horrible. It took months and
Katrina's
months.
The worst part about Katrina was it hit an area that was 20 feet below sea level, and the pumps and the levees just couldn't.
Well, yeah, they couldn't keep the pumps up.
Yeah.
There were a lot of mechanical issues. And the problem is that the Army Corps of Engineers kind of got their butts handed to them for not maintaining
Well,
proper
it's that
service.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit, I come from Detroit, and now they're flooding every year in the summer when the rains come because the pumps in the interstate freeway system haven't been replaced since the 60s, and they don't all work. So everybody's basement floods now. And it's basically like one of the viewers said earlier, if it's in your basement and it floods, it's not covered, even with flood insurance. So crazy stuff. But yeah, and the storms are getting bigger. I mean, Katrina was a Cat 3, and it was like 400 miles wide, I think, or 300 miles wide. This storm was almost 500 miles wide. Ian, 500 miles. Then you have Michael, that was like 350 miles wide. They're big storms. They're wider. Whoever thought Asheville, North Carolina, and Tennessee would get hit with a tropical storm?
Hi, Gremlin.
And that tropical storm was still sucking water out of the Gulf of Mexico from its southern side when it hit North Carolina. That's why they're getting bigger. It wouldn't surprise me in the next 20 years there being tropical storms in Michigan and Ohio because
Well, I
they're
mean, you
getting
look at this last one that just came through. I mean, that thing blew all the way up. I have one of the people that I work with lives in Ohio. They got
right,
slammed
but it
with
was it
rain
was
bands.
just a tropical depression, and I hate to say just a tropical depression
Hi,
because
Siren.
here's the thing: everybody says, "Oh, this hurricane was so much worse," and this hurricane, a hurricane is only as bad as the experience you have from it. I've been fortunate up until, except for one. In that one, I thought for sure I was going to die in it. And until that happens, until you get that sensation, that's the worst one to me because that's the worst one I experienced. But I can sympathize those people. Uh, you know, People say, "Oh, it only was 85-mile-an-hour winds." Well, my house is built to withstand 300-mile-an-hour winds. So yeah, in my house it's fine. But when you got a house that's made out of 2x6s and 85-mile-an-hour winds come, that house blows away.
Yeah.
In they, I mean, I was surprised. My niece, she lives in Valdosta, Georgia, or Hialeah, or something like that. It's near Valdosta. Her house was actually built to Miami-Dade specifications, which basically everything is hurricane tide, and they say that it can withstand 250-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And they don't mean the roof could get sucked off of it, the shingles and stuff like that. They're talking about the structure, so you don't die. You live getting rained on.
Robert
So
Pintoff, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
yeah, Dayton, Ohio got hit. But that's what I'm saying. This was something that was unprecedented in the fact that uh, the storm was so big, it was still fueling itself while it was in North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio. I was in Virginia visiting my son, and they got some of the bands. So it was from Virginia all the way into Tennessee.
Well, yeah, I
That
mean that storm,
It
which
was a big storm from edge to edge.
yeah, and again, it had effects all the way across,
But
top
if
to
you look
bottom in
at
the
the
U.S.
weather, let's put it the last 6 years. There's a lot of these storms that are getting that big. That just took a track that a lot of people got affected by it. But there's a ton of storms that are 600 miles across, where you look at a hurricane like Hurricane Charlie. Uh, it was 35, 40 miles across. It was very small. Yeah, there was a lot of outer band stuff, but the actual impact, and that was 20 years ago. Uh, to get to real huge hurricanes, you got to go back to the hurricane in 1920. And I mean, that's another thing too. Then they say the deadliest hurricanes now, they only go back 50 years. Uh,
Yeah, but there's a very important fact to make:
well, it's the difference of what we're living in. We're more prepared
population
for it.
densities,
But
right?
like there's a hurricane in the 20s. It ended up taking down the overseas highway in Florida, killed 80,000 people. But when you Google the deadliest hurricanes, that one doesn't come up. Katrina comes up. Katrina is in the top 10 of the deadliest historical hurricanes.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, back then they say up to 80,000 people. There's another thing that's different. Right now, I think Helene has 200 confirmed dead. How many missing are there? There's probably thousands missing. If they don't find those people, they will not be considered as collateral damage from the hurricane. That's what happened with Ian. There is hundreds and hundreds of people still missing that they just said, well, they're still missing. We don't know that they're passed or dead. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, so those don't count. And even Katrina, there's tons of people still missing from Katrina that aren't statistically part of Katrina. Um, Whereas before, like say 50 years ago, they really didn't know. Number one, people lived in wooden houses. Uh, there was not a lot of electronic communication. So some people could disappear and nobody would ever know about it. And the reason, like they say, 80,000 for that one hurricane is they knew there was a lot of people building, construction workers and stuff like that in this area, and they're gone. So that's why they say upwards of.
Yeah.
I know that Jim Fletcher, I don't know if anybody knows it, but one of his friends is driving a box truck up there full of water uh, towards that area, somewhere in northern North Carolina. He's a North Carolina resident also, and I know that they've been doing a lot. There are a lot of people in the coin community from North Carolina that that I know have been sending stuff like water, and that's what it takes. I mean, that's the one thing I can say about where I live. Um, when the storms come, even the neighbors that don't get along with everybody, they get along for the week or two. We got one neighbor that nobody gets along with, but we get along with him. I mean, he's a good neighbor like that. So people come together, and like I say, he had no power. We all gave him all the stuff that we had to get him through it. So
So I'm looking up NOAA, and one of the things that NOAA says, and NOAA is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Association, or organization. Um, and they're saying recent studies suggest that the latest increase in proportion of North Atlantic hurricanes undergoing rapid intensification is too large to be explained by natural variability alone. Outside of this being detected by the impact of climate change on intensity, the paper states, in contrast, that the frequency of hurricanes making landfall in the U.S. has not increased since before 1900.
That's right. It's the size has
It's
increased.
well, but what's happened is the size has increased, but it's rain. And so they're looking at the variability when it hits the land, that because the increased levels of rainfall, that they don't die when they hit the land. So that you'll see less
Well, that has to
areas.
do because they're still part of them over. They're still generating energy
Right.
from the water.
Well, but that's, yeah.
So
So
they're
the
over the
size of the
water.
hurricane, because they're dumping so much water that they're able to fuel, so they're going in farther. And um, warm air temperatures hold more water vapor. That means the increased moisture leads to the air, which leads to increased rainfall, typically expanding the duration of the event. So yeah, it's rain leads to flooding, flooding leads to fuel, fuel leads to sustained storms, which
Right.
leads to
Jack
more
told me this.
rain. Yeah.
There's a rumor they're going to condemn the trailer park. Condemning the trailer park's not all that bad as long as they fix it and get you back to where you're living. After Hurricane Ian here, we had 11 trailer parks in the city, and I think there's only two left. All the owners of the trailer parks backed out because they couldn't afford insurance. People couldn't afford to live there. Two of them remained, and I think that was because all the people that lived there were a conglomeration from the 11 parks. They're all 55 and older, and they all, had enough money to do it. So they are using military Chinook helicopters now to get water and food and fuel into Asheville. Vote for Pedro. That started this morning. Uh,
So there's an old adage, and I say this sarcastically, but there's an old adage that any helicopter is eventually just heading to its crash site. There's a lot of potential issues with operating a helicopter around um, civilians who are untrained, rescue attempts. There are electrostatic discharge issues that you have to be concerned with. There's the real event of electrocution. You have down power lines. You have a lot of increased risk. So there's a lot of things that go into coordinating a SAR event. And so when you're doing search and rescue, when you're actually outreaching into areas, there's a lot of stuff that you have to understand. You have to understand the terrain. You have to understand if you're in an area that's saturated with moisture, what are the effects of the downforce from a helicopter going to do to the soil and stuff underneath? The added burden on the trees. Are they going to snap the trees? Are they going to cause ground instability? There's a whole lot of stuff that has to be considered when you're looking at mountainous terrain and looking at a SAR event. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't know why they just don't do this. Well, the problem is that when you're looking at um, some of these things, it's important to understand that there's a lot of other factors. We don't always
yeah, there's a lot of
necessarily see them.
logistical preparation that
Yeah.
has to be done.
And so a lot of people are like, well, something's not happening. Something's not happening.
It,
It's
it, it,
I regret I go back to being Navy, and turning a carrier. Okay, I can turn that rudder, but it's going to take a minute for that ship to move. So it doesn't necessarily mean that things are not happening. So I want to
right.
be
And
careful,
here's
saying
another thing,
absolutes.
Frosty. Don't believe everything you see in a Facebook meme. Take them very,
Fact.
very
Yeah.
lightly.
Fact.
There's been a lot of stuff. This is not happening in Asheville. And the photographs were like from Hurricane Wilma or something like that.
Yeah.
It had nothing to even do.
Yeah.
It's people trying to get views and likes and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
be very careful where you get your information from. The
Yeah, and
best place
again,
to get your information from is like Jack Gallman. I've heard rumors that they're doing this in his area. So in his area, if you know people in Marion, North Carolina, that would be a good source. What's going on in Marion, North Carolina is you would get a hold of him. Uh,
yeah, no, the whole
or
thing with like the condemning, if he's heard that from his local media, that's a pretty good source,
yeah,
right? But if you've
and
heard that
condemning
from a
doesn't mean
Facebook post, that could have been something that happened 25 years ago.
condemning just means
Yeah.
you'll have to go to the disaster center. FEMA will put you up in a hotel if they condemn it and make everybody leave. That just happened to my niece. I'm not sure where in North Carolina she is, but she just got put up in a hotel because FEMA comes. She went to the disaster relief center in every county in North Carolina. There should be somewhere, and it's called a FEMA DRC, the last disaster relief center. Uh, you go there, the more information you can take, the better. But some people, if they don't have homeowners insurance, they'll get a check to fix their house. FEMA will come out. FEMA actually came out. Her roof was leaking. Came out and they condemned her house because she had mold already starting to grow where the roof was leaking. And they put her in a hotel, and now she's got a contractor coming that's going to rip all the drywall out of the house and seal the roof. Uh, and she's got no homeowners insurance. So, and that's, the best thing you can do if you're in an affected area is go to that disaster relief center. Even if FEMA doesn't help you, they will put you in touch with somebody with resources that can help. Like during Ian, I went down and I didn't qualify for anything because they said I had homeowners insurance that covered all of that. But they did say if you want to pursue this, we can put you, we can get you set up for an interest-free loan to repair your house. So you can get it done right away and then just pay a 0% loan back. I didn't do that, but yeah, there's a lot of resources that they have. Emergency food and water. You'll go there, they'll
Yep.
give you a case of water. Chances are the Walmarts, the Targets, anybody, whatever big store you have in that area, if they have water, they're giving it away if you've got no running water. They did that here. Home Depot, they were giving water away. Um, so, like I say, there's lots of resources available for these disasters. I have no experience with anything but hurricane disasters. So, but this is what that is up there, basically. The mudslides, it's hard to imagine a hurricane making a mudslide.
Yeah, and again, so coach is like, I remember FEMA getting huge amounts of money for previous disasters, and they spent the money fighting legal fees. Um,
Well, here's the thing, coaches, man. They're doing that here right now. They're prosecuting people because people repaired their house with the money, didn't take the money to do the repairs properly, didn't pull permits. They just patched their house together. They say that they gave you $30,000 to fix your roof. Some of these people went up and literally replaced some shingles and some wood and didn't put a new roof on the house when they were paid to put a new roof on the house. And it's illegal. Everything has to be done properly. Um, so the
Ronald
SBA,
Reagan,
it's all business loan. That's right, Coach's Magic.
yeah,
Uh,
Ronald Reagan was the one who said that. Vote for Pedro. Yep, yep. I'm here from the government, or I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Yeah,
yeah, but he also said uh, those are the most feared words that you can hear and he also said something about money in the government. It was a very profound statement, which is totally people don't. I mean, what was the
hi,
big
brown
thing?
sugar.
I'm not sure, but it was in the same speech with "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." It was basically talking about taking your money. So and it was one of his speeches that he made running for president against Jimmy Carter. So, well, and that unfortunately, Tiger Stacker, that is true. There has been disaster after disaster after disaster, and that's what I was telling my wife uh, was hopefully there's no major disasters coming up because unfortunately our government works on public relation type stuff. So if there's say this hurricane that's coming to Florida turns into a Cat 5 superstorm and blows away half the state of Florida, nobody's going to remember Helene, and FEMA's going to pull right up and go down here. That's what happened with Ian. Is another disaster hit? It was like something in California, and all of a sudden they were gone. They picked up and they went to that disaster to try to help them and try to say, "Hey, look at this is your government at work."
Well, yeah, but you have to understand that, again, we fight, and this is where the duality, I want to say this and be politically not necessarily correct, but be careful about how I say this.
Right, right.
My words
You're
matter.
getting
Well,
into far
yeah, but
right,
let me,
far left.
yeah, but it's not, it has nothing to do with that. This is where you have to understand the balance of things. So, how many people want bigger government? Very few. How many people want smaller government? More. Okay, great. Smaller government means less support in certain
less
areas,
less services. I got a
less
great story
services.
about
Okay.
that.
Now, larger government means more money goes to those areas. So they both have potential pros and cons. Here's the problem. When everything is good and everybody looks good, it's like it's a waste, it's a waste, it's a waste, it's a waste, it's a waste. And so they get rid of these programs. They go in, they cut, they reduce these items, they reduce funding. Everybody's like, look, they're still making too much money. There's still too much going on. They get cut, they get cut, they get cut, they get cut, they get cut. An event happens, and then everybody wants to know why in the hell aren't they supporting us? Well, you got what you asked for, right? And so we have to be very careful when we're looking at the extremes of things to make snap decisions based off of what we know right now. You have to take history into account. You have to look at the potential things. There are things called secondary and tertiary effects. Tertiary meaning third. So when you talk about the order of events, there's the event that occurs, the thing that happens after that event, the reaction or the consequence that happens from that is a secondary event. But there's also a third level that happens that a lot of people don't think about. And it's that third level that because it's out of sight, out of mind, when it comes time for an event or it comes time for something to happen, everybody goes, uh. And this is what happened. We see this. So how many stackers we have in there? Every one of them would know that the Federal Reserve Act, the primary thing was to have more control so the banks could do certain items. It sounded really good to look at certain elements and look at certain items on there and see that there were levels of controls. It would help the bank. It would stabilize the economy. People were like, oh, that's really good. But the tertiary effect of that was that it put all the power of control of our financial structure into the hands of 5 or 6 people. So the
Yeah.
tertiary effect wasn't looked at. When we look at, we look at government, we look at giving money, we look at some of those things. We're not even going to get into providing aid to foreign countries. I'm not going there. But when we look at supporting social systems, when we look at supporting general structure, when we look at supporting those things, we have to take into effect where are we at right now. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to dump bunches and bunches and bunches and bunches and bunches of money into this. And then in 9 months, when the storms are gone, there's going to be all this money here. They're going to say, well, there's an exorbitant amount of money at FEMA. Why don't we take some money away from them?
Of
They're
course.
going to go through legislation. They're going to take the money away. Then we're going to have another crisis on our hands. A series of storms or events are going to happen. And we're going to be back into this. It's a cyclical cycle. It happens all the time. And that's because people can't see what's in front of their nose.
And also, like I was saying about the next disaster,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what political party's in power.
Nope. Nope.
It's a
Has
public
nothing to do with that.
relation event.
Yep.
Uh,
And a lot of it is political. It's about what do I have to do right now to get voted in?
and
What do
it's
I have to do
another
to get
thing,
my
just
vote?
like
Yeah.
Uh, Helene has been a week, 10 days ago. If there was an earthquake in California that killed a bunch of people, that's the news. The people
Yep.
already have had 10 days of Helene. It doesn't make their plight any easier, but the media is going to say, well, okay, let's go. Let's go to the next one. And FEMA is going to follow right with them.
Yep.
That's just how it works.
And
Uh,
again, folks, when you
that's
talk
why the
about
neighbors got to help neighbors. Local has to help local.
there's that, and that is what I love about this community, right? We come alongside each other when something's wrong. Um, we have people who come in, they support, they're friends with people, they talk with people, they know what's going on. You're going to get the best news. Eric said this earlier. If you want to know the facts, talk to the people who were engaged in it, talk to the people who were
Yeah.
there, right? Ask
Facebook.
questions. There's so many people in this chat that know people in those areas. Go to them and find out what fact is. What I would be very careful, urging caution is getting any of your news from social media platforms.
Yeah. From Facebook, YouTube, anything.
Stay away
It's
from any social
just
media
not healthy.
platform for your news. I would even be cautioned going to the media, right? Um, Talk to people, go into
Absolutely.
chats, listen to what's going on. Like Jack come in and it's like, hey Jack, how are you doing? What's going on? Um, you know what?
No
If we
power,
want to,
no this, no that.
yep.
You know that is true.
I would also urge caution. Now, I'm a big supporter of certain things. I like Wounded Warriors. I like St. Jude.
Yeah. Do we
They
got
are.
any other information on pre 33 gold? We got lots, coaches Magic. We're just not talking about it.
We'll get there in just a second. You know this. There's. I don't think there's ever a stream unless I'm doing a teaching
Yeah,
session
score that we squirrel out on.
that we don't squirrel out
Yeah.
on because it because something is there. So I stopped the conversation because Jack came in and we started talking about these various
Right,
items.
right.
We'll get back to the pre-33 gold. So I apologize for the deviation in this, but this is just what we do here. Um, because these are the topics that people are interested in, right? Now we want to talk about pre-33 gold, and I'll get to it. I'm releasing a video more talking about some of the items. Um, Trying to focus the squirrels. Oh no, I know. I appreciate you, Coach. But what I want to get back to saying is that when I would be very cautious, okay, and I've talked with a number of you individually about various events, and we talk about this stuff. Social media is a good thing if we want to relay information and we have good points. We talk about coin collecting, we talk about stuff like this. Many people will use it for nefarious purposes. Be very, very, very careful about getting a lot of your news from social media, right? Look at it. This happened when they were doing the last storms that hit uh, that small storm that went through, and they were showing all the flooding. That was Katrina, and it had nothing to do with that, right? They were showing a lot of this stuff because they want to build. There are some people out there that their entire purpose, their entire site, is to build animosity.
Well,
Be
that
very
and
careful with that.
there's a lot of people who entertain themselves with disaster and bad things.
Well,
Is it wrong? No,
there are
but
some people
it's
who
not
want to see
true.
the world burn, right? That's one of my
Right.
favorite comments from the Batman movie, where you know, what's the butler's name?
Alfred.
Alfred. He's talking about the guy in Burma who stole all these gems, and he was giving away the gems to the kids. And as he were going through and they were looking for this guy, this kid was holding a ruby, this giant ruby, and he's like, "Oh, he just gave it to us. He didn't want the gemstones. He just wanted to see the world burn." And there
Yeah.
are
Well,
people out there who just want that. There are people out there who knowingly create sites to mislead. They're listed as satire, but they normally create information. They look like news channels. They have the same names. There are people who mask themselves as newsworthy places. There's one guy who makes a very good living out of creating mock sites like McDonald's and Burger King, and he creates mock social media sites and goes in and pretends to be these people and causes all sorts of strife and chaos. He makes great money doing it. So be very careful getting your media and your news from social media. Talk to the people in the community, right? And say, hey, what's going on? And
and
avoid the well, I heard, like, well,
right.
what do you know? right? I don't need conjecture. I don't need opinion. What do you know? If I'm going to make a financial decision to support somebody, I need the facts. We had a gentleman, and you guys know him, Chris G, who recently got laid off of his job. Um, the the company that he worked, the union, they laid some people off for a short time. And one of the things when we were going through is looking at, what do people do? Chris G comes in here all the time, supports the channel. Love the dude, nice person, great, very kind. Didn't really ask for it. It was people that come alongside of him to help him out, and I wanted to do something for him, so I did something for him. But I'll tell you right now, if I would have done something, and I've done this with other people, and I find out they were doing other things and spending bunches of money when I offered to help them out, I would never do it again. So I take information seriously, and you guys look, I want to provide good, solid information, and so I watch these things and I pay attention to it. So please avoid getting information from social media and avoid the rumor mill. Well, I heard. Okay, well, did you verify it? Did you look it up? Look up information, right? Don't just pass on the rumor mill. Uh, that doesn't help anybody, right? And if
And
we're here to
remember,
help each other in the community, then let's get good, solid information and pass on facts.
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people who look at this and say, "Oh, that's terrible," but it makes their day that much better because
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
what they
Kevin.
live. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
if the story starts with "I heard," then just stop it there. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and
exactly.
Snoopy, there is. And so one of the things, like, okay, we know Jack Gallman's in the middle of it. Hey, what's happening? Like, what are you seeing? Um, do you have other people come up? If you want, get some of the people together in that community, have them jump into stream and let's have a discussion. Matter of fact, Jack, if you want to do that, you want to talk to your neighbors, have some of your neighbors come in tomorrow. We can talk about that. Talk about exactly what's going on. Get some facts. Get the information out to people. What's happening? What are you guys having a problem with? What can we actually do something about? And those are the kind of things that have more impact, right? Because it's not hearsay from an agency that's trying to get clicks or views. It's being there to um, support each other. I don't care, and you guys know this. I am more attuned to supporting copper coins, to supporting Livecoin Q&A, than I am pushing for my own channel. I want my channel to grow. I love doing this, and I love seeing the number. I'm getting bunches of subscribers from my dad jokes and from my other videos and my shorts, and people come check out the videos, and that's great. But I'm more suited towards providing information and giving good resources to people. So if you come to my channel and you watch and you see a couple things and you find somebody else because I've referred you to them, and that's the niche that you want to be in, then I'm fine with that. So I would much rather people come in and, Jack, have some people come in. Jack says we're doing good here. There's a lot more people worse than me.
There
So
you go.
again,
That is the attitude right there. That
that
was the attitude that everybody that survived what I went through had. It could
yeah,
have been a lot worse. We could be dead.
yeah. And so
You know,
again, take it from those people that are in that area. Take it from people that are in that environment, because that ultimately is where you're going to do that. Stay away from social media. Be careful with if you see something with 3 or 4 million views, uh, do a little bit of fact check. Read some of the comments. The comments will illuminate a lot, because you got a lot of people that go to these things just to debunk them and go look at it. It's like, oh, that's a photo from so and so. We'll go look at this thing and you'll see that same photo. And then you look up photos. It's like, type in a couple different items and you'll see some photos and you'll see it's a photo from 2010, right? So do a little bit of research, fact check. But again, we have a lot of people in the community from all different places. We have different people in this community. We have people from Indonesia come in here. We have people from Canada, from Mexico. We have people from Britain, and we have people from Ukraine that come in here. We Czech Republic come in here. We have people from Russia that come in here. We have people from Norway. that come in here, Sweden. So there are people all over the world. So if you want to know, hey, what's going on, just ask, right? Eventually, we'll probably find somebody that's from that general area. So take it from the community. There's so many channels out there. We're in so many different places that you'll find people in that area. If you really want to help, find people in that community and work through them. Again, now in doing that, again, there's a little bit of caution that needs to be urged. There's a lot of people out there that'll take advantage of that. So be careful the ones that jump channel to channel looking for stuff. Um, I know Jack Gallman. Jack Gallman's in here. He's always supporting the channels, always coming in. Hey, from Mary, North Carolina. I'm leaving work on my way home. Hey, folks, I just made it home. I'm going to go to bed. Take care of yourselves. Be well, be blessed. Love you all. Appreciate you guys. Always coming in, supporting the channel. Comes in and checks on Ida. Comes in and checks bunches of different channels to make sure that everybody's doing good. Says hi. Make sure things are well. The intent of Jack is always good, so I don't have to ever worry about Jack. So be careful that there are some people out there that will utilize that. We've seen that in our community before, people who take advantage of the kindness of others. So again, just, pay attention to things. Ask around if you want to help, talk to the community. The community will let you know. Anyway, sorry to get on my rant. It's almost 10 o'clock here. Do we want to get into See Happy Chappy member for 12 months? Whoop. Oh, by the way, so I'm going to do something, Chappy. You just enlightened something, and I want to share this. So let me pull this up. Give me just a second. It's going to take me a second to get there.
You take care of yourself, Jack.
Yeah, and if you need anything, brother, you let us know. Hey, I just got a new subscriber. Thank you so much for the person who just subscribed. I do appreciate you. Thank you so very much. All right, let me see. Members, members, members. Where are we? Where are we with the members? I want to call out a few members, and I want to call you out because I've done something. Many of you will be getting something in the mail. I have a couple more people that I need to get a hold of. If your name is here or you know this person, have them reach out to me because I need to get something from you. Snoopy, I love you too, my friend. Thank you so much. Kevin Rose just dropped the $5.99 super chat. Is this the right button? Kevin, it's not. You actually needed to move that to the right. Just kidding. No, I appreciate the $5 super chat, Kevin. Thank you so much. That's awesome of you. All right, so See Happy Chappy. See Happy Chappy was my very first member. See Happy Chappy is going to be getting something in the mail. Now, what they're going to be getting is this. Can you guys see this? All right. So if you guys can see this, this is, so I was in the Navy, and if any of you guys know what that means, this is a plank owner. Now, a plank owner, you guys can look this up if you want to, but the purpose behind a plank owner is when a ship is being commissioned and you are on that particular ship, there is a status that you were tied to that is the plank owner. You do the same thing when they decommission a ship. If you're on the ship when they actually decommission the ship, then you get another title as well. And so there are 11 people who have been members that have maintained membership since day one. So I ordered 11 stickers, and it says June 2024 YouTube membership. This is 0. This is mine. So obviously I'm the founding member, right? Because it's my channel. But See Happy Chappy, you have a sticker. You have a couple of them coming in. I've also got new stickers in, so you'll see this one. This is the new Frostbite coins. I really like this sticker. I think it turned out really well. I'm going to be doing more of those, so I'll be giving some more of people these things out very shortly. And I did another one because the new caption for my site, this one's going to be hard to see because it's holographic, but it says where the stories are told. This is going to be my new tagline for my channel. So my new channel tagline is Frostbite Coins, where the stories are told. Because you guys know that I like storytelling and I like sharing information like that. So there's going to be a number of people that are going to be getting stickers. If you want stickers, and it's backwards, it's actually not. It's this. So CIB Chappie, again, you're going to be getting those. So please expect that in the mail. 75 in pennies is also one of the founding members. Eric Byer, you are going to be getting one of those. You have been on a loyal supporter of the channel almost every week since we've been doing this live thing. You've been on with me. Paula Bloom is as well. YouTube
I love it.
me, not me, but me, is going to be on it. Now I have Paula's sitting here, and I have something else I want to send Paula, but I'm waiting for it. Chief Stacker, and I haven't seen Chief for a while, but I reached out to Chief, made sure I got his information. Tiger Stacker, obviously you guys know Tiger Stacker stuff just sent out. Snoopy Stacks, who is a Planchet member. Chief Stacker is one of my highest, along with me. The two of them have the highest level memberships. I appreciate both of them. Um, Snoopy Stacks, again, she has been on there since day one. William E. Now, William E. is one that I need to get a hold of. If you guys see or hear from William E., please make sure that you send that over, and I will I need to get something out. Ringmaster Ray has been a subscriber during that entire time frame, so I have sent something out to him as well. So I want to thank you guys. Now there's a couple people that have been memberships that had joined from the very beginning. Unfortunately, for whatever intensive purposes, they had to fall off. These are people that have maintained the membership the entire time. Again, it's one of those things where I I wanted people. My purpose for this is I'm about to hit my year mark as a member, and so I wanted to honor those people who have come alongside and supported me. So again, plank owner status. That means you've been with the channel for a year. This is my 1 year group. Again, thank you so much for doing the memberships and for supporting me and being a member for that entire time frame. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want one of these stickers or you guys want one of the other ones where it says the stories are told, send me an email. You can do that by doing exclamation point email, and then I will get you a sticker out. But I want to thank my channel members, especially those 10. Again, Eric, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of your support, the friendship that we've developed.
Oh, I
And
look forward to it every weekend.
well, and you were saying that when you were doing the reveal the other day, and I was driving, and he was like, "And you guys know that I'll be there on the weekend, so I'll see you over there." Um, but it's a lot of fun. William E is in chat. William E is in chat. Hey, William E, email me. I have a packet of stickers that I need to send you. So email me, exclamation point email. Send me off. You're one of the few names that I still needed. So please send me that off and I'll make sure that you get that. And I have your stickers right here. So please do me a favor and send me out that, and I will make sure that I get those off to you. All the other ones have already been sent off. So again, thank you so much for that. I do have another custom set of stickers that are going to be done. I'm just waiting for Sticker Mule to open up their little gift thing. Um, and these are going to be for special supporters. It's going to come with something else. I'm not going to talk a little bit about that, but it's going to be um, there's a couple people that are in the chat who are avid supporters of not just my channel, but of my daughter. One is in here. He knows we talk about it quite a bit, and that is Vote for Pedro. Vote for Pedro supports my daughter. YouTube me, Tiger Stacker. You guys have really come alongside and encouraged my daughter to do it. There have been other people in the community who've actually commissioned pieces for my daughter to do it. Um, Supreme Ginger, See Happy Chappy. Did you like that? Oh, dude, yeah, that Morgan was a beaut. Yeah, I like that Morgan. It's in my really nice set of slabs. It's a very small container, but Yeah, it's a beauty piece. 1878 S MS64.
Ooh.
Yeah, beauty piece. Absolutely awesome. So I've got something else coming to you guys. I'll give you a sneak peek of this. There are some more coming out. There's a specially designed one that's going to be specifically for her, but it's this one, and this is the Frostbite Coins and Bifrost. I have something like this. It's going to be a little bit different, and this is going to be for those very few people. And again, limited editions, right? These are just my way of saying thank you to certain people who have done this. But I did this, and if you guys haven't seen this, we're going to do another one. This is just for me and Bifrost. We have a couple people, but I made this. Oh, you see it? Oh, hold on. I got to take my green screen off. Just a sec. I hate freaking green screen stuff. Just a sec. Where is my? What the heck? Where did it go? Ah,
That's still working.
yeah, but it should be. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now you see my pretty green screen. But here's the shirt. Check it out. So whenever Bifrost and I go out to our community or we're uh, we're doing something, we're going to we'll wear those and so fun stuff, fun stuff. So there's a lot of cool things coming out. We've talked about um, maybe doing something that is uh, available for people. We're trying to determine whether we're going to do like little beanies or if we're going to do something like that. Not quite sure what we're going to do. We haven't made up our mind for it, but we want to kind of gauge the interest to see if that's something that you guys would be interested in getting. I'm not going to do tons of merch because I think it's kind of silly um, to do tons of merch. But if you guys want to support me and Bifrost, then we'll be doing some stuff. I know it's backwards. I just can't get the people to um, print it correctly. Although Mike Panucci, you guys remember Panucci, right? Mike Panucci made me a mug, and I don't have it. It's downstairs. I need to grab it. But it was the channel mug, and it was actually printed backwards, so that when I was drinking my coffee on TV on the stream, you could see it normal. Oh, it was pretty awesome. It was the first error mug. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, so we're gonna put something together as we start to kind of get the design elements to know exactly what's going on. We're gonna reach out to chat and find out what people are most interested in, and then we'll get some pieces. We'll do them as giveaways, and then if people are interested in having frostbite and bifrosts, maybe a mug or maybe it's a beanie or something, whatever you guys like. We'll do something. We'll talk about it. It'll be a one-off thing. It's not going to be a bunch, but again, just to just to support her more than me, because again, all of the proceeds to this kind of stuff are going to go to supporting her art career and uh, trying to get her. I want to try and get her an upgraded artistic set. So I want to buy her some additional software and some more tools so that she can continue doing her digital art. I also want to buy her a really nice printer specifically for digitally printing some of her digital artwork so that we can do things like she can do her digital art and then print it, sign it, number it, and then send it off so she can do some of her limited edition stuff. Um, there's a person in the community that we've talked to that's kind of stemmed this. Vote for Pedro. Thanks for throwing that in there. I greatly appreciate it. I don't know how many subs she's at. I really want to get her to 100. So if you guys aren't subbed to her, please do so. Go comment on one of her items. She's doing a little animation that's really cool. Um, but EMR pancakes are done. Got to eat while they're hot. Hey, thanks, Eric. Appreciate you coming up. Appreciate your support of the channel. I really do.
Pancakes. That sounds good.
Pancake. 91 and climbing. We need 9 more, folks. Let's do this. How many people do we have in chat right now? Got 30 people. If you guys aren't subscribed, if we can get her to 100 before this ends, I'll give it 15 minutes. If we can get her to 100, I'll give away an ounce of silver. Um, or maybe I should give away. Mm, maybe I should give away a variety. Silver or variety? What do you think, Eric? Should I give silver or variety away?
Well, you know where I stand. I think this audience would like silver more than varieties, unless it's a silver variety.
It isn't a silver variety. Eric says just resubbed before leaving. Make sure if you're going to sub, make sure you are going through and doing. Let the winner choose. That works. Easy. I can do that. Um, I just subbed her channel. Make sure that you're commenting on a short or whatever. She's doing something right now. I'm trying to talk her out of doing it. It's driving me crazy because she enjoys it, but it's like do what you do. Stop doing what everybody else wants you to do.
Well, there you go. Is that 100?
Out freaking standing, you guys. 102. She's going to be so freaking happy. Make sure you guys are going through. Click on one of these items. Matter of fact, if you guys can comment, she has 247 views on the little Vox animation one that she did. If you guys can go through and comment on that one, she did kind of a preview animation. Go in there, comment on that, say, hey, subscribe from Frostbite's channel. Looking forward to the whole animation of this. She'll show you kind of what she's looking at trying to do and some of the stuff she's doing. You'll see the quality of the work that she's doing. And again, just absolutely, she's really pushing her bounds. And so again, looking at supporting her and building that up. So again, trying to support these things and, again, nurture my daughter's desire to grow as a person. So thanks, David Carlisle. Appreciate you guys. It's only a minute long video, so it's not very long. But again, we'll kind of give you an idea of some of the stuff she's working towards doing. So I appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to do the exclamation point winner command to go ahead and do this. Or should I run? No, I can't do that. I can't use that anymore. Let me do a Nightbot. Let me pull up Nightbot. Let's pull up my Nightbots and let's grab a giveaway. All right. So I am going to pull up Nightbot. I'm going to give you guys, let's give you guys 1 minute to put some stuff in chat. If you were in portrait mode, please put something in. If you were in, not waffles, that's you. I'm not still in your waffle. Playing with your waffle either. Let's go ahead and go through, and then what I will do is I will pull something. So make sure you're chatting it up. Make sure you're please chat it up. Let's go in there. If it lands on me, the next person will get both of the items. If you are in William E, please make sure that you email me and I get your address so that I can send your stickers off. Make lots of words. That's right. Make lots of words. Again, I appreciate you all being here. Eric, thank you so much for coming up. Make sure, Eric, make sure you put your name in there.
Where?
In
mean
chat.
Type something?
In chat. You're eligible for this. Ron says words. 949 says $ St. Jude's. Yeah, we got St. Jude's and we've got Wounded Warrior coming up. We've got both of them coming up right around the corner. How about this father-daughter outing? Go for a carnival and get stripes painted on both your faces. Next weekend is homecoming, and so we're going to be doing all sorts of crazy stuff for homecoming. That reminds me, next Saturday I might not stream. I'm gonna wait and see. I've got to see how homecoming goes. There's a lot of things going on. We've got some dancing and stuff like that to do. So there's dances and setup and stuff like that. So we will
And
try that.
tomorrow we continue the 33 gold.
Yeah, yeah, we we talked for a good hour on 33.
Yeah.
We just talked for a good hour on this other stuff. Again, we'll talk about whatever. Are you going to
Okay.
wear your Trump Force One sneakers during the rally today? Um, yeah, actually, I've got them in my curio cabinet. Um, they're really cool. I like those.
Do, do
Those
you actually
shoes.
have a pair?
Uh, yeah, they were custom designed for me. Have you seen those?
Oh, so they're not the real ones.
Oh, they're not. No, they're not those ones. But yeah, they're nice.
I was gonna say, wow, man, we got a celebrity.
Yeah, those are nice. These ones, they're pricey though. The ones that I got are very pricey. They're nice though. Have you seen those?
I've not seen yours. I've seen the ones that he sold.
Give me a second. I'll show you. They turned out pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and run this. Hey, Victoria, how you doing? Good to see you guys. David Carlisle says, I don't know. All right, we're going to roll this. And let's see. Oh, hold on just a sec. I got to make sure. Eligibility. We'll turn the moderators on. I got to make sure the moderators are on. Members, users, channels, regulars, active users. You guys are all there. And we are going to fire away. And the winner is Snoopy. Snoopy Stacks. Congratulations. And I don't even have to ask. She's going to want the silver because I know Snoopy. So, Snoopy, if you will send me a claim email, just let me know that you get. I know I got your address, but just claim that off. That way I can track that down and make sure that stuff is sent. Otherwise, it's out of sight, out of mind, and I'll forget about it. So, congratulations, Snoopy. Thank you so much for that. And I know she wants the silver, so I'll make sure that I send the silver out. All right, y'all. Well, hey, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for getting Bifrost to 100 subscribers. She's going to be extremely happy to see this. I'm going to be seeing her a little bit later on today, so I'll be following up. They did had a football game in Houston, and they didn't get back until like 1:30 this morning. So I'm sure she's probably still crashed. But when she gets up, I'll go pick her up and I'll hang out with her, go have lunch, and then I'll let her know. Oh, yep, got you. I'll send you. I'll follow up with you, Joe. I just got your email. All right, you all. Well, hey, take care of yourself. Be well, be blessed. Thank you all for your support. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support of Bifrost. Again, we'll be talking tomorrow. We can talk pre-33 if we want to. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to discuss.
Well, let's play it by ear.
Yep, and
It
that's
always turns out.
Sundays. Sundays usually are kind of whatever. We just call it chit chat for that reason. But we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. You guys will see the
I'm
notification
looking forward to it.
in a little bit. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks, Eric.
You guys have a great day.
All right, we'll see you all later. Be well, be blessed, and I will see you in the streams. Take care.